Hi, thank you for being here. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia. I'm here to do a reading for us this morning. Just a general layout. Whatever messages want to come through. Maybe there will be some new moon themes from this new moon that we just had. Let's just get into it. What's important for you to know right now? What's important for the general collective at this time, for this timeless reading? I do offer personal readings. There will be information in the description box if you're interested in having a personal reading done. I love to do personal readings. I'm also developing a business reading for people who want to do consultation with me around money and finance and their business. So that's also something that I offer now that I'm developing as we speak, since that's important to folks. Much like love. Love is a big theme in tarot, in case you haven't noticed. What are some themes to set the tone for this reading? What's important for somebody to know out there? I'm also developing, and I have a basic foundation for my next obsidian mirror work coming up on the channel, so that's exciting. Stay tuned for that. Okay. All three are pink, it looks like, which is interesting. So we have number 22, the heart, number 37, the citizen, and number 40, the alchemist. So I have the sense that you're kind of reestablishing your place in the 3D in terms of working more from your heart and working more with community in mind. And you may have done this through some healing work, or this may be healing for you. Something like serving others is also healing for you, right? That could be. Let's see if her book has anything it wants to say to us about these cards in particular. Although, wait a minute, before I use the book, I'm going to continue with my plan, which was to also pull some of my cards and some of this. So far we have the heart, the citizen, so where you are, where you stand with the people around you as a citizen, and the alchemist. What are you alchemizing within you and around you? Are you turning base metals into gold? What else is important to know? Your heart center, where you stand within your community and your healing journey. Guard your inner vein of gold. So that's right in line with this alchemist card. Guard your inner vein of gold. Artemis and Actaeon shield your energy. So I'm taking that to mean that you need to protect the healing work that you're doing. And that inner vein of gold is your inner alchemized gold, right? That you've worked hard to protect. So this is saying that you need to continue to do that. That you need to continue to protect your healing. What else? Lightning strikes, thunder rolls, a Garth Brooks moment. So there's something coming around your relationship to your community, or your relationship to a partner in the realm of love, in the realm of the heart. There's a surprise coming. Show up in boots, ruin a black tie affair, friends in low places. So this is asking you to engage with a lot of boldness and courage through this shocking event that's going to happen. It's going to be okay to show up just who you are as and just how you are with your loved ones, with others. You're a healed person who protects and has good boundaries for self, care and connection for others. You're very heart-centered. And as this shock comes through here, in the realm of the heart, it's going to be important that you stand not only for yourself, but for the community's values and your own values, right? What else? What else to know? for you. This may be something you're conscious of and that you're already doing, that you're making a stand for your community or for your world due to some shocking events that have deeply impacted you on a heart level. That could be. It's important that you protect the healing work that you're doing, whether it's your own. Well, this said inner vein of gold, but it could also be healing community work and protecting that work. Like if you're an aid worker or doing some type of medical service, could be. What else is important for you to know right now? The bobcat, the rooster, and the porcupine. And I do need to read her book here because I'm new to her deck. This is a really popular deck, but I'm new to it, and I like her meanings. They're very well thought out. So the rooster and the sunflower are very appropriate for me. Personally, I'm surrounded by both those things right now. In the reverse, that is XLX. Bear with me here while I look this up. We also have the bobcat and blackthorn. Blackthorn is very protective. It's probably one of the most protective plants on the planet. And the porcupine and anemone. And I don't know a lot of the qualities of an anemone, so I'll be curious to learn that from her description here. So, in fact, that card's right here. So, the porcupine, which with its impressive quills, is a well-known symbol of self-defense. Yeah, and this is talking about community defense here in terms of showing up in boots, ruin a black tie affair. I'm wearing my Chinook, it's a coincidence, but I'm wearing my Chinook Nation t-shirt. The Chinook tribe is currently seeking federal recognition, and they're shaking it up on all levels to make that happen. They had their federal recognition granted and then taken away, which was some type of extra cruelty. Just when you think the U.S. government can't be any more egregious and doing the wrong move, they do it again and again with the First Nations. But anyways, so this could be some work that you're doing within your community, and it's important for you to defend not only your community but the work you've done to heal yourself as well. According to a legend common among Anishinaabe tribes, the porcupine gets its quills by placing the branches of a hawthorn tree on its back. The defending itself against the bear, the trickster spirit in Ojibwe myth, saw the porcupine's cleverness and fashioned it a coat of quills to wear from then on. Just as the porcupine curls into a ball to defend itself from predators, the anemone flower turns toward and down during rainstorms, protecting its delicate petals from damage. Sorry, it's dark in here. That's why I'm having such a hard time making this out. You cannot help others unless you first help yourself. Maintain healthy boundaries around your time and energy, giving generously only once you are sufficiently fed. And so that's right in line with guarding your inner vein of gold and alchemizing your healing for yourself. It's essential that you continue to protect that work. There's a lot insisting on that here, not only with this anemone, but with this blackthorn in the bobcat card here. And a bobcat is a still animal. So what I'm guessing is that part of your protection here is going to be being in stillness and in quiet and not making a lot of big moves. Bobcat and lynx are wild cats and big cats that are really reclusive. They avoid people. They don't make big moves. They're like ghosts in the forest. I've lived in the Pacific Northwest my whole life, and I've only seen 3 bobcats ever in the wild. And some people see more, like people that hunt and are out. But I'm an outdoors person as well. I'm out in the outdoors a lot, and I've still only seen 3, and I've never seen a cougar. So they're still quiet creatures. They're not loud. Even cougars are loud with their their vocalizations, right? Bobcats, not so much. But let's see what it says here. The bobcat and blackthorn is XL. This came in the reverse. You have acted too hastily and are in over your head. Notice what preparations might have served you and plan more carefully in the future. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. You acted hastily, but it's also kind of guiding you to show up in boots and ruin a black tie affair when it comes to breaking down some established orders that are not for you or not for your community. So you were maybe hasty before. You might have acted prematurely in the past, but you're going to have to do this work again, like what you did before, only it may have been premature before. And then the rooster and sunflower. This will pick up here after these cards. I don't usually read so much, but I kind of wanted to get away from opening with tarot, and I want to learn this deck, so thank you for bearing with me. Communication. This is the card of the good leader. Oh, it's reversed as well, though. A communication has occurred. Oh, a miscommunication has occurred. As a leader, resist the temptation to blame others. Instead, clarify your intentions, seek understanding, and if needed, ask forgiveness. So it's a little bit of a contradiction here, because these parts of yourself you might be at odds with yourself about needing to speak up, needing to show up in boots, ruin a black tie affair, needing to be a leader, but also being too hasty and too bombastic and too over the top as a leader. I think what this is saying is that you need to rethink the style that you're approaching leadership and be a little bit more of a softer leader, listening more instead of acting in a bombastic way prematurely, which has now gotten you into a little bit of trouble where you're having to make some fixes. But you're operating from your heart, so you can kind of operate from a still, calm center of a heart-based energy, protecting your own healing, and I think that's going to be the better and wiser move for you here. Versus being like the rooster and being real cocky and in masculine energy. It's advising you to be on a little bit of a quieter tip here. So what else? What else? Now let's do a Tetractys and see what comes out for this overall themes that we've just read. What else to know about this time? That you need to kind of be very discerning in how you move is what's coming through. Protect your healing. Protect the healing of others and your community. This is something like when you're at actions, if you're not de-escalating with people who are often there, often when you're going to social justice actions in the streets, there will be counter demonstrators there. And they talk a lot about de-escalating. And it's hard at times in those settings, at least for me, to want to de-escalate because I'm so passionate about what I'm doing there. And when other people are showing up to like terrorize us or act, not, I've been up against some really scary fucks in the streets that are bigots, that are violent, that think nothing of. I got grabbed by my throat once and thrown across the sidewalk. Like they don't care. They want to brawl. They're there to brawl. They hate leftists, right? So it's those kinds of folks I'm talking about. The wrong move often with those dudes is being a rooster energy. That's the energy that they're in. And so if you're in circumstances right now that are requiring a lot of quick thinking and discernment, it's saying you don't want to be in this bombastic energy. So like at those actions, what you need to do really for the good of the movement is try to de-escalate as much as possible while still showing up and showing out, right? Just de-escalating with those people, getting into shouting, punching matches with those people is futile, right? You want to be there advancing your cause or your message, right? But those people, sometimes you do want to show up and confront them if they're trying to terrorize others. But anyways, it's that kind of thing. Being strategic is what's coming through. It's not saying don't be who you are. It's saying be who you are. Show up as a citizen. It's okay to be assertive. It's okay to be, you know, to demand your rights and things like that. You just are going to have to be careful and not act out of haste. You need to be strategic. It's a lot. Sorry, I don't know why it took so long for that to come through. I think it's because I'm reading in a way that I don't typically read. What else for this layout? What else for these moves here? What's important to know about your moves and about your current circumstances? So we just came through that new moon, and here's the moon card, which often happens in my layouts because I like to read around the moon cycles, and so then often the moon card will show up in my layouts. So the lunar energy from this recent new moon in Virgo is still in play here, as is the King of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, and the Five of Cups. So you've had to walk away from something, and you're managing some disappointment here. It might be hard to see clearly right now, which is a challenge for you because you're accustomed to having your feet on the ground and being very practical and in the 3D world, and to have all this illusory lunar energy around, and Cups energy is not your comfort zone. So there's a lot of disappointment and walking away that you're working on. You're a sovereign being. You're a wise king. That's in the cornerstone here. You've got everything that you need, but there's something really tricky that you're working through right now and walking away from, and things may not be what they seem, and you're having trouble discerning the landscape that's coming through here. And that happens with lunar watery energy, especially in a new moon when it's dark. At the dark moon, that's a very shifting trick of the eye kind of landscape, if you can imagine that, right? And what's interesting is that we have the Five of Cups here in the facts position, which is that you're nursing a disappointment in the heart, and then the Three of Cups in the where the energy is headed, which was the cups that had been spilled, and that you're trying to pick up the pieces and keep going. They seem related here in some ways. So let me keep reading here, and we'll figure out more as we go. Your vulnerability has something to do with communication, or taking action, taking immediate, quick action. And that might be in part because things are so unclear right now. It's not really clear what's going on. What's interesting though is this Ten of Pentacles. So you're in a very wealthy, secure position in the material world. Could be literally with money, or with land, or with just security in your body, and in the you're in a place where you feel kind of like the master of your domain sort of thing. Because the Ten of Pentacles at the heart of this says to me that this is something about money. You may be trying to walk away from something in your material world that is very sorrowful, and you're trying to just now focus on your work. I don't understand. I'm kind of not getting still how this is connecting to these cards up here, though. They seem disconnected. Your strength is that you're in this creative, new, communicative energy. So maybe you're not sure how to initiate some communication here. That's what it is. That's what it is. There it is. There it is. Thank you. This is what we were talking about with communicating versus crowing like a rooster, or communicating with stillness and eye contact like a bobcat, right? Like a bobcat and a rooster have very different energy, right? Very different. And so it has something to do with owning your physicality, owning your physical space, owning who you are in your body, which is the King of Pentacles, owning your abundance, and not being shy or retiring about it, even though you're kind of walking away from some stuff and nursing some difficulty. It's saying show up and as who you are. Just don't overdo it. Like, be secure in who you are. You are rocking this kind of fire element right now, and this earth element. It's the water element that's got you tripped up here. You're really secure in your earth element. You're unsure how to communicate, but you have a lot of healthy fire in you about it. It just may not be coming across to others that way. There might be some kind of a disconnect between how you're feeling and how it's coming across. It's in communication with a particular person. It's with a Queen of Swords. So this has to do with shaking things up in a relationship, in love. I don't know who this Queen of Swords is to you, but you are drawn to her. You are wanting to go towards her. There may be something. This is a very confusing layout. I just got to say it. And it's because you are confused, I think. You're not sure what to do. Something about this circumstance has you all scrambled up, but you're in a really solid position. So I'm not sure why you're in this really confused emotional energy, because the rest of it isn't matching. And that's kind of what it's saying up here as well. There's something mismatched, either in what you're perceiving to be going on and versus what is actually going on. I don't know. It's really interesting. What's going on, Spirit? Like, help me out here, because there's a disconnect. Like, it's almost like two different timelines or two different reality planes. I'm not understanding it. You need to show up and you need to be participating in this. This is not a time to be retiring, but it's participating by being maybe engaged, but in stillness, not in taking action, making moves, starting the conversation. It's not that. And that might be what's tripping you up, because you have all this fire and excitement for communicating about this issue, whatever it is. You're very secure as well. You're in a secure position, so I don't know why there's all this confusion. Maybe the new moon created some confusion for you. They're about new beginnings, and it might be that the threshold of the new beginning is something you're excited about, but have a lot of trepidation about and don't know what to do. The strength card here is you. You're being strong and you're overcoming whatever doubt may be at play here. That's important to know. It's like there's two different worlds here that you're trying to exist between or move between or get from one reality to the next. Okay. So there's something about this situation that is very positive for you, which explains why the excitement is. I think you feel good about the way things are headed and the way things are going. There's a legal case, though, that requires you not to rush ahead. You've got to be smart because of the legal case involved here. It has to do with, I think, an ending of something, either an ending of a contract or a death in your family. And you are now in the process of going through the immediate aftermath of this death, is what it's looking like to me. So this is really specific for someone. And there's some sort of positive communication or positivity or way that you're wanting things to go versus how other people are wanting them to go, or whatever. There's a court case involved, and that requires you to be really careful. It has to do with your home. The communication and how you go about communicating here is very important. The ending here is why there's this sorrow and walking away, is because of this ending after an illness or after I think it's been a death in your family, but it could also be an end of a relationship, right? Like an end of a marriage. And you're wanting to move forward and keep moving, but you need to be very careful that you're not coming across like with chest puffed up and whatever. Because, for example, if it's something like a divorce, or you and your family members are all grieving the death of someone, emotions are running high. It's a time where things fall apart very quickly between people in discussions and in negotiations, which is why the Citizen card is here, which is why it's saying stand up for yourself, but you need to be careful that you're not going over the top with it like a rooster, but more in the self-possessed power like a lynx or a bobcat. It's all coming together now. That's what's been so confusing about this. But but you need to be looking out for yourself and the fact that you're coming now from a healed place. So you don't want to, like, if there's other people that want to get down in the mud, you don't want to do that necessarily, but you may have to show up in boots. If other people are going to get in the mud, you might have to do some of that yourself. But for the most part, you need to protect your own healing at all costs and the healing of others in the circumstance, because it's not just about you here. There are other parties involved, either in a divorce with children or in the death of a family member, and you're talking about the estate, right? There's other parties involved here, and it has to do with money. So that could, again, be a divorce or a death. Money is often involved in those circumstances. You are in a good position financially here. So just know that even if there are other parties involved and there's negotiating to be done, you're in a good position. So don't get into any kind of weird scarcity mindset. That's what this reading is for. That's why it's wanting to come through. It's telling you now's the time right now to keep remembering that you're in a good position regardless. Slow down. Don't rush anything. Don't be too cocky and over the top with stuff. There's things brewing that you don't know about. You just have to stay in your heart and in your integrity as you go through this negotiation process. It's an interesting reading for someone. What else? What's the court situation here? What's the situation about the legal system? What is it? There's legal system, bereavement, house, death, illness. So maybe somebody was on hospice care recently. And emotions are often running high in families at a time like that. So it's important as you're talking through, like making all of the arrangements, for example, for the funeral and things like that, that you're being mindful of everybody's feelings, protecting your own feelings as well, not just letting other people stomp all over, but trying to be like a mediator leader in the circumstance as much as you can. What's the energy around you like? What are the waters like? It's confusing for you. You're not really sure how to navigate a time like this, is what I'm sensing here. You're trying to move forward in a positive way and look at things in as positive a way as you can. What are the energies around you that you need to be aware of? So Taurus, in its full, what energies are around you? Coming to a dead halt at the sight of a peacefully grazing heifer, his feet well dug into the tender grass which he loves and so ruthlessly tramples upon, with moist snout, round eyes, horns pointing to the wind, thick neck, powerful shoulders, and swishing tail, such is the demeanor of the vain, fierce, trusting but powerful and confiding bull, full of animal instincts and desires and tremulous sensuousness. It's an earthly element. It indicates concentration, timidity. It requires the goad to stir it into action. It shows greed for gain, indicates secret love affairs, and corresponds to the line of life joined to the line of head, with the girdle of Venus in a firm hand with a prominent and lined Mount Venus. It denotes exaggerated materialism, gives a tendency to immorality and love of comfort, with the possibility of acquiring it through one's own exertions. Taurus governs the neck and throat, which throat chakra and communication. So it's important to know that there's a lot of this energy present that will help you understand, like bull, active, fierce, large, right? Like there's a lot of big energy present. Neptune. Holding the trident in his left hand and the dolphin in his right hand, standing erect on the ocean waves with the strange mien which inspires everyone with this sort of awe, Neptune, the god of the ocean and of the watery element, suddenly and unexpectedly appears in his grand and superhuman simplicity, which is so awesome because it was talking about there's this big surprise coming and there's all this confusion for you in the water element. And now here is the god of the water element coming in with this kind of surprising, I think, on this surprising, shocking energy. It's really cool how it's coming together here. It is the card of permanency and continuity. It represents in a layout the uncle or the brother-in-law and may be taken as signifying a widower or bachelor of attractive personality. It also means a friendship that has become a burden and which cannot be got rid of. So interesting. I see this like a widower here, meaning that you might be going through the death of your partner, or you're a grieving male, masculine energy. And it has to do with this watery element, grief of the heart. You're in a very secure position financially, regardless. So it's a delicate time with loved ones as you're grieving the end or loss of someone or something. And so it's just going to be important that you can show up kind of in this bull energy and accidentally cause damage, like it was talking about stomping on the grass, or, you know, it's just not a time for big, bold, rooster and bull-like energy. It needs to be kind of dialed back. It's not saying don't be masculine or be weak or whatever. A bobcat is not a weak animal, right? Or a porcupine. They're not weak. They're just smart and strategic about how they defend themselves and how they move and how they operate. Roosters, maybe not so much. Same with bulls. They're a lot more physical. So anyways, I think that's it. I hope this is a helpful reading. It was interesting and a little bit confusing. Oh yeah, and I meant to do an endgame card too. So we'll exit with one of these cards to ponder, a question to ponder for yourself to close out the reading. A positive time, though, with loved ones approaches. These cups spilled, and it might be a sad time for more than one person, but being together is going to feel positive. That's coming through with that Three of Cups. Especially if you maintain kind of not overriding or overrunning people with any bombastic or loud way of being. Tell about an understanding person in your life. So meditating on someone in your life who you perceive to be very understanding, I think is good advice, because this situation calls for your understanding and your leadership. You're being perceived as a leader in here. And so, especially with this Neptune card, this Taurus card, that's a very masculine leader energy. It's an energy that's, again, not super comfortable in the watery realms here. So it will be worth your while to meditate on people in your life who you experience as understanding, kind, listening people, not like roosters so much, but maybe like mother hens, for example, right? Or, you know, and meditate on that and emulate that kind of energy as you move through this situation of sorrowful time with these people who are intimately involved in it. Just know you can move like an understanding person, even if it feels unfamiliar to you. Like, I could see this being something like, I don't know how to handle my family's grief. I don't know how to comfort them. Well, it can just be emulating, like, just show up and be understanding. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to fix it for people. You can just show up and be in your heart with them, right? And be yourself. I'm not saying fake things, but you know, just be authentically you and speak from your heart and say, sometimes I don't know what to say. I'm just so sorry. Or, you know, we're all going through this and just doing the best we can. Or, you know, just trying to emulate. If this is a world of emotions that's unfamiliar to you, just try to model understanding by imagining people in your life who you know to be understanding. And that can help you. It's not unusual for people at a time like this to not know what to do, so they isolate, and then the other grieving people feel hurt, kind of, right? Because, I mean, it's not unusual for people really to not know how to handle a time like a grief loss, like a death. And I'm sorry for your loss, whoever you are, because it seems like you're going through some kind of a loss here in your family, either through a death or a divorce. Or other separation of some kind. Yeah, I guess I'll end instead of making you watch me put my cards away. Sorry, thank you, and have a good one.